Through the door, I could hear Chloe and her friends giggling. A psycho like her should be locked up, not let out of the hospital. Chloe, do you think she'll freak out and start biting herself in there? Haha, probably. You should crack the door and peek. No way. I'm not going near her. Class wouldn't be over for another 40 minutes. All I had to do was wait. The dark, cramped space gave me a strange sense of peace. I felt myself growing drowsy. After some time, an impatient voice came from outside the door. Hey, crazy girl in there. Are you dead yet? A pause. Make a noise if you're not dead. I ignored her. A few moments later, the voice returned, now tinged with panic. She's not making any sound. What if something really happened? So what if it did? It was Chloe's voice, cold and dismissive. If she dies, I'll still be here to take care of mom and dad when they're old. Let her figure out how to break the door down herself. Let's go. Their footsteps faded away. I closed my eyes, ready to get some real sleep. Suddenly, a sharp, acrid smell filled the air. Smoke. For the fire spread with terrifying speed. Within 3 minutes, the thick smoke was choking me, and the small equipment room had become a furnace. I didn't scream for help. I didn't bang on the door. I just hugged a basketball to my chest and curled up in the corner farthest from the flames. My consciousness began to fade. This is good, I thought. This time I can finally succeed. No jumping off buildings, no gas leaks, no one to pull me from the water. Just a quiet exit without bothering a soul. Once this life was over, I could finally be free of this body and move on. This body, covered in scars. My wrists broken more times than I could count. My legs mottled with cigarette burns. I wouldn't have to live this painful, pathetic life of trying to please everyone anymore. Just as I was about to slip away completely, there was a deafening crash. The door splintered off its hinges. A figure, silhouetted against the flames, charged in and swept me up from the floor. It was Ethan. His clothes were blackened with soot, his face a mess of panic and terror. Sadie, wake up! He carried me out of the inferno. A crowd had gathered on the lawn outside. When Chloe and her friends saw me emerge alive, their expressions were a wild mix of shock, guilt, and a sliver of unmistakable disappointment. I was laid on the grass, and I greedily gasped for fresh air. Ethan knelt in front of me, his voice tighter and more strained than I had ever heard it. Are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? I stared at him, my chest rattling with each cough. Brother, you saved me again. I looked him dead in the eye and my tone flat but laced with genuine regret. Why did you have to save me? I was so close to being dead. Ethan's face went dark. He grabbed my shoulders, his voice a raw roar. Why didn't you call for help? Why didn't you try to break the door down? Did you really want to die? He shook me, his control gone. Sadie, what the fuck are you trying to do? I didn't answer him. Instead, my gaze shifted to Chloe, standing in the crowd. She flinched as if I'd struck her. It wasn't me, she yelped. I didn't start the fire. I don't know how it started. Her friends quickly chimed in. We were already gone. It has nothing to do with us. Sadie went to get the basketballs herself. We just showed her where the room was. Just then, the head of campus security ran up, panting, to the school principal. We found the cause. It was old wiring in the equipment room. It short-circuited and started the fire. It was an accident. A collective sigh of relief went through the crowd. Chloe's shoulders slumped, and she immediately put her mask of fragile innocence back on. Oh, Sadie, I'm so glad you're okay, she cried, rushing toward me. It's all our fault. We shouldn't have played that joke on you, making you get the equipment all alone. She reached for my hand. I recoiled, pulling away from her touch with the instinct of a chronically abused animal. And then, in front of everyone, for the first time, I began to scream and cry. A raw, piercing wail of terror. I'm sorry, sister. I'm sorry. I should have stayed in there, but I don't like the dark room. I don't like it. I looked up at her, my face a mess of tears and soot. Next time, I sobbed. Next time, can you pick a different way for me to die, please? The scream tore from my throat like a wounded animal's, raw and unfiltered. For the first time in 10 lives, I didn't hold back the terror, the fear of dark rooms, of burning, of being trapped, of never escaping this endless cycle of pain and rebirth. The crowd fell silent, staring at me as if I'd grown a second head. Chloe froze mid-step, her hand hovering in the air, her perfect mask of concern cracking into something like genuine alarm. Ethan's grip on my shoulders loosened. He stared at me, his eyes wide with a mix of horror and confusion, as if he were seeing me for the first time, not as a threat to Chloe, not as a lunatic, but as a scared, broken girl. Sadie, he whispered, his voice shaking. What are you talking about? Next time? There isn't a next time. But there would be. I knew it. Just like I knew the sun would rise tomorrow. Just like I knew Chloe would find another way to hurt me. Just like I knew that no matter how hard I tried to die, someone would pull me back from the edge. This was my curse: to live, to suffer, to die, and to wake up again, trapped in the same hell with the same people. The school nurse rushed over, pressing a blanket into my hands and guiding me to sit up. Breathe, honey, she said, her voice calm but urgent. You're safe now. The fire's out. You're okay. Am I? I wanted to ask. Am I really okay, or am I just waiting for the next disaster? For Chloe to slip something into my food, for Ethan to turn a blind eye while I'm hurt, for my parents to lock me away because I'm too broken to be their perfect daughter? But I didn't say anything. I just kept sobbing, letting the tears and the soot and the snot mix on my face. Let them think I'm crazy. Let them think I'm unstable. Let them fear me. Maybe if they fear me, they'll finally let me die. By the time we got home, the news of the fire had spread. My parents were waiting in the foyer, their faces ashen. Eleanor rushed forward, pulling me into a tight hug that made my ribs ache. Oh, my baby, she cried. I'm so glad you're alive. I don't know what I would have done if I'd lost you. Richard stood beside her, his jaw tight. We're pulling both of you out of King's Academy, he said, his voice firm. At least until things calm down. We'll hire private tutors. No more schools, no more parties, nothing that can put either of you in danger. Chloe's eyes widened. Dad, no, you can't do that. I love King's Academy. My friends are there. My whole life is there. Eleanor pulled back from me, her hands on my cheeks. Chloe, this isn't up for debate. Sadie could have died today. We can't take that risk again. Chloe's lower lip trembled. But it was an accident, a wiring problem. It had nothing to do with me. I know that, Richard said, his tone softening slightly. But the environment there isn't good for either of you right now. Too much tension, too much drama. A change of scenery will do you both good. Chloe stormed off to her room, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. Ethan glared at me, as if this were all my fault, before following her. I stood there wrapped in the nurse's blanket, feeling Eleanor's eyes on me. Let's get you cleaned up, she said, her voice gentle. You must be exhausted. She led me up to my room, and for the first time, I noticed how different it was from the others. While Chloe's room was filled with designer clothes, expensive art, and a king-sized bed, mine was small and sparse, just a twin bed, a dresser, and a desk. No photos, no decorations, no personal touches. It was like a hotel room, not a home. Eleanor helped me into the shower, and while I washed the soot and chlorine from my body, she laid out clean clothes for me, soft, comfortable pajamas that smelled like lavender. When I emerged, she was sitting on the edge of my bed, holding a mug of hot cocoa. Here, she said, handing it to me. It'll help you relax. I took a sip, the warmth spreading through my chest. For a moment, I allowed myself to pretend that this was real, that she was a real mother, that I was a real daughter, that we were a real family. But then I remembered the storage closet, the gas line, the cold look in her eyes when Chloe had accused me of hurting her. The illusion shattered. Mom, I said, setting the mug down. Why did you adopt me? She froze. What do you mean? You already had Chloe. You had Ethan. You didn't need another child. So why did you find me? Why did you bring me home? Her eyes filled with tears. Because you're my daughter, Sadie. I gave birth to you. I didn't give you up by choice. I was young, scared, alone. I thought giving you up for adoption would give you a better life. But when I found you, when I found out where you'd been, what you'd been through, I knew I had to bring you home. I had to make it right. My breath caught in my throat. This was new. In all my previous lives, she'd never told me this. She'd never admitted that I was her biological daughter, that she'd given me up. She'd always acted like I was just some charity case, some project to fix. You're lying, I said, my voice shaking. If I'm your real daughter, why did you let Chloe hurt me? Why did you lock me in the closet? Why did you let Ethan hate me?